and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and on screen we have a puzzle by the Dutch author Hans van Stippent. Hans has appeared many times on gmpuzzles.com, so he's got serious puzzling creds, and yeah, I'm very interested in this puzzle because it strikes me as just unbelievably beautiful. It's a mashup between skyscrapers and Sudoku, but you can see that the outside clues are all, well, the only digits used are 2 and 5, so it's pretty remarkable to me. This has a unique solution. The testing reports for this puzzle, incidentally, are A, that it's very beautiful, but B, it's not too difficult. And if you've seen me struggle the last couple of days with the monumental puzzles from Risar and Fistemafel, you'll presumably be pleased to hear that this video ought to be a little bit shorter. Now, what are the rules? Let me read them to you. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, also standard skyscrapers rules. Now, don't worry if you're not familiar with those, I will explain what that means. In skyscrapers, each number in the grid represents the height of a building, and the clues on the outside of the grid indicate how many buildings can be seen when looking from that direction. Taller buildings block the view of smaller buildings. So let's just try and understand what that means. If we look at row 4, there's no clues outside the grid here. So let's look at row 4. Let's imagine this square was a 9. Let's imagine that square was a 6 and that square was a 5. Then if we were trying to work out how many buildings would be seen from this side of the grid, the 1 would be the smallest building, so that would be seen. Towering above the 1 would be this 6. You wouldn't see the 5 because it would be hidden by the 6, but you would see the 9, which would tower over everything. So you'd see 1, 2, 3. This clue here should be 3. And now let's imagine we filled the row from the other side like that. So what would we expect to see from this position? Well, we'd see the 2. Just above the 2, we'd see the 3 peeking out. We'd just see the 4 peeking out over the 3. We'd see the 8 towering over the 4. And we'd just about see the 9. Let's ignore the fact that there might be a bit of distance between the 8 and the 9. You'd see the 9. You wouldn't see the 7 because the 8 would be obscuring it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be a 5 clue. So that is how skyscrapers clues work. Top tip for skyscrapers, start with the biggest number and work downwards. Now, there is an additional rinky-dink here. Additionally, the cells in grey are underground and cannot be seen for any of the outside skyscraper clues. As an example, the 2 in row 2, that must be this 2, refers only to seeing 2 buildings in columns 3 through 7. Right, okay. So it's just these cells that this 2 is looking at. Even if there was a 9 in column 2, let's put a 9 in here, this 9 cannot be seen. Okay, well that's fine. All this is basically saying is that these skyscraper clues only apply to the white cells in the grid. So we ignore anything in the grey cells and we just try and complete the white cells by reference to the skyscraper clues. And that's all there is to it. I say that's all there is to it. It sounds a bit daunting, but we're going to have a go. To have a go yourself, click on the link under the video. And with that, let's get cracking. And we can place a 9 here straight away. And we can do that because look at the juxtapositions of the 5s in column 5. And let's think about what they mean. I mean, could we ever put the 9 in this column closer than this cell to this 5 clue? Well, no, we can't. If we try and put it here, the maximum number of buildings this 5 clue could see would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything behind the 9 would be hidden. So this would have to be a 4 clue. So the 9 can never be closer than this cell to this 5 here. And of course, from this side, it's exactly the same logic. The 9 can never be closer than this cell to this 5 clue. So the 5 sort of, well, push the 9 into the centre of the grid. So this square's got to be a 9. Now, the other, actually, if you like thermometer Sudoku, there is an opportunity to use row 5, or column 5 I should say, as 2 thermometers, because now we know that for this 5 clue to be valid, we've got to strictly increase as we go along here until we hit the 9. So that we could view these 5 squares as a thermometer with a bulb here and the end point here. And we could view this 5 as a bulb here going up to this 9. So these are basically two sort of thermometers in opposite directions now in column 5. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means where do we put the 1? The 1's either got to be in this square or this square. Now, can we... We've got 2's opposite each other there. Now, yes, this is interesting. We need to think about how these 2 clues interact. So whatever we put in... this is very... Yeah, this is really... This has to be like a pyramid. This square has to be the highest of these 3 digits. Because if it isn't, one of these 2 clues will break. Let me show you what I mean. If we try and put, 4 here, 6 here. Now what do we put into this square to not break this 2 clue? We have to put a digit that's lower than 6. And that's always going to be the case. Now, but if we go in, obviously if we go 6, 5, 7, for example, this 2 clue is fine, but this 2 clue most certainly isn't, because this 7 blocks the view of the 5 and the 6. So we always have to try and make sure this square is the highest, and these 2 squares are lower than whatever we put in this square. Now, why does that matter? Well, it means this can't be a 1. There's just simply no way, because however we arrange these 2 digits, one of these 2 clues will break. So this is not 1, this is 1. And now we can think about, so now we know 2 is in one of these 2 cells. Oh, but 2 can't go here either, can it? Because if we put 2 here, how do we make this pyramid work? We can make it work like that, but that doesn't obey the rules of Sudoku. It obeys the rules of skyscrapers for these 2 clues, but yeah, it doesn't work, does it? So let's delete those. This has got to be the 2. So now the 3 must be in one of these. Now, can this be a 3? Yes, it can, because we can put 1 and 2 into these squares now, and the 2 clues will work on both sides. Right, so 3 could go in this position. But 8 must be next to the 9. Let's put the 8 next to the 9. Okay. Right, okay, we can think... In fact, there's a few things. I was thinking about 8s then in relation to this 5 clue, but I should also be thinking about 9s in relation to this 5 clue. Where does 9 go in this column? It can't go anywhere near this 5. And it can't go in those 3 squares because there's a 9 in the box already. So the 9's in one of these 3 squares, and it can't go here or it will break the 2 clue at the top. So this has to be, the 9 is in one of these 2 squares. But look, I think we can repeat this logic with the 8. 8 cannot be in these 3 squares. Otherwise, the maximum this skyscraper clue could be would be a 4. 8 can't be in these squares because we've penciled the 8s there. So 8 is in one of those 3 squares. Now, okay, well 8 can't be in this square because if we put 8 there, we have to obey our pencil marks and put 9 here. And now this cell is axiomatically going to be below 8 and 9, and this clue should be at least, well, it should be 3 in fact, and it's not. So we can't put the 8 there. So the 8 is locked into one of 2 places, the 9 is locked into one of 2 places. So in this box, the 8s and the 9s have got to live in these cells. No, this can't be a 9 because it will break the 2 clue, and it can't be an 8 because it will break this pyramid arrangement. If we put 8 here, we know we've got to put 9 there, and we can't. So this is not 8 or 9. This is an 8-9 pair, and this can't be 9 because of this 5 clue. yeah, this 5 clue is, again, it's saying essentially this is a bulb of a thermometer here increasing to this cell. So if we put 9 here, we can't put 10 here, so we can't put 9 here. That's 8, that's 9. And the 5 clue means that this square's got to be higher than 8, so that's 9. 9 has got to be in the grey cells, therefore in box 9. Oh, let's have a look at 9 in row 6, because again we've got a 5 clue. That's locking 8 and 9 again out of these 3 squares, isn't it? So, but 8 could go here. So let's look at 9's first. 9 must be in one of these 3 squares. 9 can't. Look, we've got this 2's arrangement here in column 9 again. So again, this has to be a sort of pyramid where this is the highest digit. So this is not 9. 9 is in one of these 2 squares. There's a 5 clue here. This is like symmetrical. This part of the grid and this part of the grid. So this can't be 9. 9 must be here. So 9 can't be there. That breaks this 5 clue. 9 can't be here. There's a 9 in the column. So 9 sits there. 9 can't be here because that breaks this 5 clue. So 9 is in the greys in box 1. This is not 9. This is not 9. So 9 is in the greys down here as well. But I wanted to think about 8 as well, didn't I? So I don't think 8 is quite as useful with this 5 clue. Or if it is, I'm not quite appreciating how to use it. Sorry about this. 1 second. Let me just stare at this grid and try and spot something. Maybe is it this column? So this square is going to have to be a relatively high number, but we could still hide the 8s in the grey, so I don't think I know enough about that yet. Oh, no, I tell you what, rather than thinking about 8 in relation to this 5 clue, why don't we think about 8 in relation to this 5 clue? 8 can't go in those 3 squares or the 5 clue will break. 8 can't go here because we've pencil marked 8's there. So 8 in row 5 has got to be in one of these 3 squares. Oh, this is huge. This is important because look, which one of these squares can be an 8? Well, it can't be this one because the 2 clue will break. Whatever we put in there will be lower than 8 and 9 and we get a 1, 2, 3 count at least. So it doesn't go in that square. It can't go here because we've got a 5 clue, so we need to view these 5 squares as a thermometer with a bulb here. So if we put 8 there, I mean, you can see we can't even put 9 above it in the thermometer, it's just totally broken. So 8 must go there. Oh, that's remarkably unhelpful. Oh well, okay. Well, it was a good logic, but it didn't actually give us anything helpful at all. So what are we meant to do? Are we meant to think about 7s now, perhaps? Yes, 7 in column 4. Where does 7 go? Well, the question is, can it go here? But given our pyramid arrangement, where this has to be the highest digit, if I put 7 here, this has to be 8 or 9. Well, it can't be. So the 7 is not there. So we now know the 7 is in one of those 6 cells. Well, if I try and put it anywhere but in this square, it's going to break the column total because we need this column total to just see 2 skyscrapers. So that's going to have to be the 7. So 7 is now... 7 is a bit restricted in this box, look, by these 5s. We can't ever have a 7 too close to the border or we won't be able to create a 5 clue. So none of those squares can be a 7. This can't be a 7. 7 lives in one of those two positions. So, okay. So maybe this square now, because look, we've got a 5 clue here, so we need to view this as a thermometer. But this square can't, well, it can't be a 9 and it can't be a 7. So the highest this digit could be would be an 8. 7, 6, 5, 0, 4. That's still a lot of latitude, isn't it? Let me just see if anything. This one can't be 7. Oh, now this one's interesting because of the 5 clue here and the fact that 8 is hidden behind the 9. This can't be a 6, because if this is a 6, I can put a 7 into this domino, but then the maximum size of this clue will be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not 6. Oh, no, no, no. Hang on. Look, we've got this. These cells are really restricted now because we've got the pyramid thing going on, and this square cannot be large. It's got to be less. It's got to be less than 5. So this square's got to be, well, it's got to be, in theory, it's got to be 1, 2, or 3, or 4. But we know that from the pyramid, this can't be a 1 or a 2. Because the 2 clues would break. So this has got to be 3 or 4. So this can't be a 3. And these 2 squares have got to be below 4. They've got to be 1, 2, or 3. So we are closing in. We've got so many small digits in this space now. Oh, yeah, and this one can't be a 5 because this one can't be a 6 anymore. Right, that's enough. We've done it. We've done it. Look, these 4 squares now are only 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this square can't be a 4 as well. That's a 5. So this square can't be 4 or 5. This square's got to be higher than, this square's got to be higher than 6. And so it's got to be 8. So 8 must be in one of those 2 cells now. And let's come back over here. So we've got we've not put 8 in this box, look. 8 can only go there. This square's got to be 6 or 7. But we've got to... It can't be 7, can it? No, it can't be 7 because then the 5 clue would only be a 4 clue. So this has to be a 6. This has to be a 7. That's a 7. So 7, 7. 7 must be in one of these. 7 can't go here because of the 5 clue at the top. If we put 7 there, obviously the maximum we could make this 5 clue would be a 4 clue. So 7 goes there. Okay. 8 goes here, look. 7 goes here, just unwinding our pencil marks. I should do that. I normally forget. So we've done quite a lot of work with 8s. Oh, hang on. Look at the 2. How? Yeah, look at the 2 clue here. How do I make this work now, given there's a 7 in this position? This square has to be higher than a 7. The only thing it can be, therefore, is 8. So 8 gets placed. So we've done so well with 8s now. 8s have got to be in one of those squares. 9s got to be in one of these 2 squares. Oh, but this is beautiful, isn't it? Look how every step is sort of, we're led to it. This 2 clue now. this begins with an 8, this row. So we now know there's got to be a 9 to complete the 2 clue. The 9 can't go there. It can go here, but it can't go there because there's a 9 already. So this becomes the 9. The 8 is therefore... Aha! The 8 isn't fixed. 8 could still go in either position. This square here has got to be a 9 though. Just to tidy up pencil marks. 9 must... Oh! Actually, we're going to get the 8 indirectly from the 9s. The 9 must go there because it can't go here. And once we get the 9 there, we get the 8 and we get the 8 and we are cooking with gas. Right, okay, so now we've done a lot of work here. We've done... Just trying to work out which clues I've not used. I have used this one. I've used this one. I've not really looked at this one. Look, this one is a 5. Yeah, this is massive because this, look, we've got a 9, 7 and an 8 pointing at this square. So this square has to be, the maximum that can be as a 6. So if we look at them, so the maximum this square can be as a 2 now. Wow. Now, are any of these ruled out by anything? Oh, we get a 3, 4 pair in row 5. So they've got to be 1, 2 to complete the row. This square can't be a 4 because this square can't be a 5 anymore. Oh, in fact, I've got a problem here. Oh, well, look at the 2 clue. I've got an 8 here. So this square can't be a 1. If I put a 1 in there, this square obviously has to be greater than 1, and it can't be 9. So this would be at least a 3 clue. So this square's got to be... This square's got... Well, no, I've still almost got a problem, but look, this square now has to be lower. Whatever I put in this square, I've got to put something lower in this square, otherwise I'll break the 2 clue. Well, there's only... So this is gorgeous. Now, look, this has to be lower than that, so this has to be a 1 or a 2. That creates a 1, 2 pair in the row, which fixes that this is a 3. Therefore, this has to be a 4, because we know this is a thermometer. That fixes the 3 there. This 3 sees this 4. That forces the 5 and the 6. So 5 must be in one of those 3 squares. 4 must be in one of these 2 squares. This is just Sudoku. And sorry, I'm stuck again. 7's maybe. 7's got to be in one of those 2 cells in box 3. So now we can ask where 7 goes in box 1. It can't go here, so it's got to go there. That fixes a 7 here, locks a 7 into one of 2 places. So this square's got to be a 1 or a 3 to complete this column, but we don't know which yet. And I must have used almost all these clues now, so that this... I've used this one, I've used this one. This one is irrelevant now because whatever I put in there, it's fulfilled. This one is not. I haven't used this one yet. Yeah, look, the next, we're viewing these as thermometers. The 3, which I've placed the 1 and the 2, the 3 must either go here or here. Well, it can't go there because there's a 3. So the 3 must go here, which means the 4 goes here or here. And rather annoyingly, both of those are possible. Maybe the 6 can be isolated. The 6 must go here or here. No. Oh, hang on, look at this row. I've still got to get this up to 5. 1, 2. So the 6 in this row must lie in this domino, otherwise I can't get to... I'm going to colour that in just so I remember. There's got to be a 6 in one of those two. I don't want to pencil mark it because that will confuse me. I won't remember that there's this boundary in the way. Right, so this clue is not fulfilled. This clue... Oh no, look, we've got the 3 here in the 2 clues. So this is a pyramid, this is the top. These have got to be a 1-2 pair. That gives me a 1-2 pair in column 4. 4, 5 and 6. This can't... Oh, the 6 is in one of those 2 cells now because of this 6. So 6 is in one of those 3 squares. And 6 can't go here because of this 5 clue. So this 5 clue, if we put the 6 into this square, look, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4 because the 7 is hidden. So that doesn't work. The 6 must go there. This must be a 4, 5 pair now to complete the box. This, oh, look along here. This must be a 4, 5 pair and there's a 4 there. So that's... This is a 4, this is a 5. This 4, 5 pair sees that... Ah, that sees this as a 4, and one of those had to be a 6. I do remember, so this must be the 6. So this square is a 1, 2 or a 3. That's not 4 anymore. Let's get rid of the highlighting. So 6 must be in one of those 2 positions in box 5. I think we're close to cracking this, but we haven't quite done it yet. This row, look, I've not placed... Oh, good grief, look, this row I've not placed 5 and 6 into it. So this domino is a 5, 6 pair and there's a 6 there. So the 6 must go here, that gives me the 6. This must be a 5. These squares have got to be 3 and 5, I think. I'm sure that's resolvable, I just can't quite see how. This has got to be 1, 2 or 3 and there's a 1, 2 in the column. So that's 3, that's 5. 3 must live in one of those 2 cells. This square's got to be a 1. Oh, this square's got to be a 1 or a 2 to complete box 5. Therefore, this square becomes a 3. That becomes a 2. And that 2, look at the job that's doing. That is going all around the place. Oh, wow. That's got to be a 1. So this, we still got to deal with this 5 clue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, okay, so look, this 4, 5 pair is disambiguated by the 5 clue. If I go 4, then 5, this clue should be a 6. So I've got to go 5, then 4. Okay, so now this clue is done. That square's just got to be anything. Yeah, that's not great. Okay. So I think, have I done all of these clues now? I think I have. So it should just be regular Sudoku from here, hopefully. The 6 there means that's not a 6, so that must be a 7. That fixes a 7 at the top. This is a 6, 9 pair, there's a 9 here, so that fixes the 9, fixes the 6. It's got to be a 6 in one of those 2 squares. These 2 squares have got to be a 4, 5 pair. You can see we can fix that because of the 4, 5s here. These have got to be 1, 2 and 3, but there's a 2 there. So this becomes a 1, 3 pair. This becomes a 4, 5 pair. And again, the 5 is helping us. So, oops, 5, 4, 1, 6. And 6 goes here, just by Sudoku. These 2 squares have got to be 2 and 4. Well, we don't know the order of that yet. let's have a look at those two. 4 and 5. That must, yeah. 5, 4, 4, 2. This should be a 3. That disambiguates the 3 and the 1. And that is, I think, the solution to Hans's puzzle. Let's see. Yes, it is. Beautiful, beautiful Sudoku. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be back later, of course, with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.